Hello everyone, it's Pat at Beads and Plenty More, and today I'm going to show you how to do this um, sort of a weaving around the outside of a stone or a bead that's flat. It has to be fairly flat or else it won't work. On these ones, these three here, I've used 20 gauge wire, and it's fairly stiff to work with. And can be a little bit hard on the hands, so I tried to go down to a 22 gauge, which is what I used on this one, and it works equally well and much easier to work with. So I've got some ideas of stones you can use. This is a bead. It's got a hole through it, and it would work because it's not very thick. You can't go too thick or else your wrap won't go around. And this one too is kind of interesting. I thought I'd try doing something with that one. So what I talked about the 22 gauge wire, that's this wire here, and I need 5 pieces of wire cut, and they need to be 10 inches or 25 centimeters long, and that's what I've pre-cut the wire here. So we'll just move these out of the way, and I will start and show you how this is done. So I try and straighten them out so that they're all kind of lining up nicely at the one end. Get them separated to be 5 different pieces there, like that. And I put a piece of tape on this, and it just needs to go around and maybe give it back so that it's not going to stick to me when I'm working with it. So that cinches the ends, and kind of give these a draw on my hand, or you can use the nylon jaw pliers to run through them to keep them nice and straight. So now with my 5 wires, I'm going to separate them out into individual wires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to do this type of braiding, I'm going to take this outside one here and go over the one next to it and under the middle one, like that. And then this side, the left side, I'm going to do the same, over the one next to it and under the middle one. So you're always going to go under the middle one. So it's starting to come. So then this one, and you want to just bow this one out a little bit so that we get a nice curve on the outside there. So again, I'll give that a little bit of a movement with my finger over the outside and under the middle. So you can see it's starting to come once again. Now with the 20 gauge, I found it was handy to use a clipboard to hold my wires because they're stiffer. But with the 22, it's not as necessary, but you could use a clipboard. So okay, over this one and under the next one. See how it's starting to come into a nice braid. And I find that because I've put all the wires tight together, the first part doesn't turn out as nice as it comes a little further along. And as long as you allow enough wire, you can just cut that piece off, and that way you don't need to worry about the fact that they're too close together. I did try separating the wires a little bit more, but then they come out of the tape pretty easily. So don't make my same mistake. Okay, so I'll bring this under here and kind of keep this so that it's relatively even. So I'm going to continue to do this same braiding over the one and under the center. And then when I've got a piece already done, which I'll show you how we're going to attach it to the cabochon. Or this time I'm going to use this bead. I thought that would be kind of interesting. So what I do is I start up at the top where I've got the tape, and just run this all the way around. I usually just use my fingers for this purpose, not tools. Get it kind of into the shape of the stone, like that. And then we're going to just push these edges so that they'll go over top. Like that. So that's going to be my front, and the back I'm going to do the same thing. Just give it the back. I can we don't need to worry about it being quite as even and straight, but I guess if you do it all the same on both sides, and you can have a pendant that can reverse, which they do sometimes when you're wearing them. So it's nice to have it good on both sides. Oops, this one came back a bit. And you can use your pliers if you find that it's not going over enough. Like that. I think I need to push these over a bit more to make sure my back is held solid enough. And if you find that when you're pulling from one side, it pulls the other side, then you can always take a pair of pliers and just sort of ease these pieces out a little bit, if like that. And that'll give you a little bit nicer look too. And that one's okay. Okay, back in. There we have it. Now, to finish the top, I found that was another reason I switched to a lighter weight wire. I found that the 20 gauge wire was a lot of extra wire. You've got 10 pieces of wire all coming up to the top. So you've got an awful lot of wire to finish. So I did a bit of curl on the front and some curl on the back on this one to try and finish it. And this one, I cut them off and curled them under. So that was another way that you can finish those ends. Finishing is always the most important part of doing a good job of something. So then I'm going to have get in with my pliers here and give this one a bend up, and it's going to become, actually I'll cut off that wire there, and this one's going to become the bail. I'll just turn it around like that. Actually, I want it to go that way. And then this piece squeeze together, and I'm going to give it a good squeeze together so that I get rid of all the little bits, and I just do a single wrap around to hold that end of the bail. Bring it in nice and tight. And bring this around. So this just needs to come around the once, and then we can finish some of these wires with some decorative swirls here. I'll need to trim them off a bit, they're a bit too long. We'll just bring them around into a nice little swirl. Tuck them so that they aren't going to be picking the skin. I'll bring down 2 at a time this time. And tuck them in. Yeah, that's probably enough, so I'll just bring these ones around and tuck them into this hole at the back. Normally would use round pliers here, but I've got the chain nose and they will work for this purpose. There we go. So now you'd put a cord or a chain through this bail at the top, and we've got a nicely held stone with a wire around the outside. Now, before I finish, I'm going to talk about this one that I haven't finished the back of. I've got all these little bits here, and they would ideally be tucked into this hole that I always leave at the back of my pendant. When I make the bail, I always leave an extra bit of space there so that you can get rid of the ends like this. There. And I've got the end of the bail wrap, so we'll also tuck that. There, so the main thing is to make sure it's smooth for when you're wearing. You don't want a bunch of rough edges. So I hope you'll have fun making some edging on your stones. Oh, just one more point that I forgot to mention at the beginning. These type of tumble stones like this that are dimensional, they don't work very well because there's not enough width to get around to make a wrap. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.